CPS today. Tonight's developing story, Congressman Bobby Rush expected to announce his retirement tomorrow. The 75-year-old has served 15 terms in Congress, representing the 1st District on the city's south side and throughout the southern suburbs.
And joining us now with more insight on Rush's career and what's next for the 1st District, Chicago Sun-Times Washington Bureau Chief Lynn Sweet. Lynn, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, let's start with this. You talked with Rush about his decision that he's going to make formal tomorrow. What exactly did he tell you?
He told me that he is a minister, just so everyone who's listening to us knows this, an ordained minister, and he said he's leaving Congress, going to be very active, wants to continue his ministry, wants to work with youth, wants to tell his story of, I guess we could call it transformation, to give hope to youths who live in the city. And again, if people don't know his remarkable life story, he started out as the co-founder of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther movement and ended up a member of Congress. So going from a 1960s radical to a 15-term member of Congress with a stop in Chicago City Council in between.
All right, in the meantime, he still has another year in office before he finishes his term. Are there things that you're looking at him that he may want to finish or complete pieces of legislation that he wants to see through?
Yes, absolutely. He's very specific about it. One of the things that he wants to complete is the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. Believe it or not, there is not a federal law against lynching. And Emmett Till is the Chicago youth who at age 14 was murdered in Mississippi. And to make this connection and to connect the dots, the church where Rush is going to make his announcement tomorrow morning that he is retiring from Congress is the church where Till's funeral was held. It was an open casket ceremony because in this age, before video proof of police brutality, that was the only way Till's mother could prove what happened to her son. So it's very symbolic and, in a sense, on point to what Bobby Rush wants to do among the things in his last year in Congress.
Pretty remarkable here. He is, again, 75 years old. He has had health issues, a battle with cancer a number of years ago. I understand he also talked about his family and specifically his grandchildren. What did he tell you about, how he wants to continue his relationship with them now that he'll have more time?
Well, I found that a remarkable point of the conversation I had with him. His grandson, 19-year-old Jonathan, said, I want to learn more about you and your what you've done in your life, but you're always so busy, Bobby Rush told me. And so Bobby Rush said he realized that he wants his grandchildren to know him, and he wants to know them, and he doesn't want his grandchildren to read about him in clips on TV and newspapers.
Interesting. Okay, so there are 6 candidates now running against him or would have been running against him in the upcoming election. I expect this is going to be a very crowded field. Do you see him endorsing any specific names? What role would he play in that?
Well, he does want to endorse, not now. The primary's not until June. And there's going to be a lot of people running. I know there are 6 in it already, and I just predict that the people that you see now will not, there will be some, now that it's an open seat, it is a district designed under the Civil Rights Act to yield a Black member of Congress, and you have some of the most major figures in Chicago and Illinois politics who live in that neck of the woods. So I would say that we haven't even begun to see people who are going to run because this is also new. So the remarkable thing in a primary is it only takes a plurality to win. So a lot of people may say there's no harm in jumping in now since you may only get a winner with some 20% of the vote. Mm-hmm. But Bobby Rush does have some sway. If he endorses somebody, it might give them a running start.
Lynn Sweet at the Chicago Sun-Times. Always good to chat with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. While CPS students